wanted to wake up on the top of a mountain or next to a river or possibly next to a lake? This is something that backpackers get to do every time they are on the trail. According to my audience analysis, everyone here enjoys being outdoors and hiking, yet only 2 people here have ever been backpacking. Backpacking is a great way to get outside into nature and disconnect from the real world for a bit. The different types of trails, equipment, and backpacking all together make backpacking a great experience for everyone. There are lots of trails that you can go on while backpacking. Many of you probably don't know it, but you've probably been on a backpacking trail. If any of you guys have gone hiking in Duluth, such as Jay Cook State Park, that's a backpacking trail. That's part of the Superior Hiking Trail. There are 2 huge backpacking trails in Minnesota. Maureen Goldberg and others in their article, Appalachian and Pacific Crest Trail Hikers, a comparison of benefits and motivations, talk about the first major trail in the United States called the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail is 2,190 miles long and starts in Maine and ends all the way down in Georgia. The trail passes through 8 national forests, 6 national parks, several state and local parks, and numerous state and local forests. The next major trail is called the Pacific Crest Trail. Goldenberg states the Pacific Crest Trail is on the west coast, beginning at the Mexican border and goes all the way up to the Canadian border. The trail is 2,650 miles long and passes through 24 national forests, 7 national parks, and 33 wilderness areas. 2,000 plus miles is kind of scary, but don't worry, there's a lot of smaller backpacking trails that you can go on. William McGrath is a hiker and an avid writer. He writes about 7 shorter through hikes that you can get done within 30 days. He talks about the Long Trail in Vermont, the Colorado Trail in Colorado, Finger Lakes Trail, which is in upstate New York, and even my favorite one, he talks about the Superior Hiking Trail here in Minnesota. Even though these can be done in 30 days, that's still a lot of time to be gone and a lot of time to be in the wilderness. You can still go on hikes that are only about 4 to 5 days, or even less than that, by just doing sections of trails, such as you can do 50 miles, or even 10 if that's what you would prefer. Although picking your trail is extremely important, the most important thing to backpacking is obviously your equipment. The Superior Hiking Trail gives backpackers a list of equipment to bring anytime they go on the trail. While this list was made for the Superior Hiking Trail, all trails are virtually the same, and the few things you might have to change is how heavy or light your clothing is. According to them, there are some things that you should take. Personal things you should bring, first, are wool socks. They are so important to when you're backpacking. And you may think, wool socks, that's gonna make your feet super hot. It does the opposite. It regulates your feet's temperature and are great for preventing blisters. The next thing he suggests are a pair of hiking boots. I prefer hiking shoes, kind of like tennis shoes, mainly because I think they're cuter than hiking boots, but hiking boots are a good option as well. The next thing he suggests are sweaters or a rain jacket. A sweater in case it gets a little cold, which temperatures can drop a lot when you're changing elevations, and a rain jacket because no one wants to be wet out in the middle of nowhere. The next thing you need is a lot of tools. And the tools that the Superior Hiking Trail Association suggests are, first off, you will need your tent. This is a 2-person tent and weighs about 3 pounds. And this is one that my brother and I share every time we go backpacking. Your next thing is probably your most important, and it's your first aid kit. And inside your first aid kit, every backpacker should have this little pouch, and it's emergency care while you're waiting for assistance. If you fall on a trail, you will need this for anything such as injuries to bones or joints, etc. The next thing you'll need is your stove top. This is the one that we have, and it flips open and is a little pot. Inside of it, it will come out. There's another bowl in here that matches the blue set, and you have your bowls, your cups, and inside of your cups, you have your stove that you attach to a small propane tank, and inside your other cup, you have sporks. Packing things down like this is a great way to save on space while you're backpacking and is super important because you need to bring a ton of stuff with you. Next things that are super important are water filters. This is the water filter my brother and I have, and it also comes along with these 2 bags. They're labeled dirty and clean. You fill the dirty one up with obviously water that hasn't been filtered. Attach the hose, hang it on a tree, and lay the clean one down, and the water just flows and filters out. This is super important because there's no water pumps or water fountains while you're hiking on the trail. You're gonna need a water filter because you're gonna need a lot of water. The next thing you'll need is obviously a way to get your water. And this is what most backpackers use, and it's called a platypus. You fill this up with water and attach it onto your back, and this part comes through and you just drink as you hike. Clint Mutteruck gives more information on what to pack in his article, such as you might want to double up on socks in case one gets cold, one gets wet, or one even rips in the sole. And he also talks about how if you bring the right stuff and you pack your equipment correctly, your pack should weigh about 35 pounds or less. That may seem like a lot, but you get used to it pretty quickly. Food is also extremely important while backpacking. There are many different types of food that you can eat. And according to the Voyageurs National Park, former Voyageurs National Park Chief Ranger, Chuck Ramus, he says that during an intense hike, you burn about 5,000 calories a day, which is a lot, and you need to fuel your body accordingly. Andrew McKean and his family tested out 12 different types of backpacking foods. He tested foods such as scrambled eggs and bacon, Texas barbecue chicken with beans, and apple crisp and more. These are all things that you just have to add boiled water to, let sit, and they create some food. Personally, I think they taste disgusting. A lot of backpackers like them, but they're also really expensive. They cost about $8 per meal. So one thing that a lot of backpackers do is they buy things like this. This is just a soup mix, and you just put water in it, and you have soup, and it has 8 servings, and is lighter than the backpack foods. You can also do this with ramen, Easy Mac, and all of those. Besides your equipment, there are many different types of backpacking trails and types of backpacking you can do. Backpacking doesn't mean walking or hiking. Daniel Duane writes about lightweight backpacking, which is a form of hiking, backpacking, but it's where you carry extremely light packs and go on really long hikes. He states that the current speed record for hiking all 211 miles of the John Muir Trail is just 4 days. They carry almost no food and just pretty much run the trail. There's also things called bike packing and pack rafting. Bike packing is where you have a backpack and you camp just like you normally would, except you're biking instead of walking. And pack rafting is the same thing, except you have a lightweight inflatable raft and a kayak paddle, and you just go through streams and water. Backpacking in any form, on any trail, and with the right gear is a great experience for everyone. Backpacking is a great way to get outside into nature and disconnect from the real world. Backpacking will take you out of your comfort zone and into a state of peace and happiness. This summer, I hope to see you guys on a backpacking trail. Thank you for listening.